Let me tell you, if you have any interest at all in transforming your music career, in truly living into what I call being an empowered artist, this is the episode for you. Because it features an excerpt with an interview that I did with an independent artist named Jennifer Vazquez. She's from New York, and she recently did her first tour of Sweden, which had been a dream of hers for a long time. But the main thing about this interview that I want you to pay attention to is Jennifer just has an amazing attitude, and it came to her through a lot of personal and inner work, which she describes in this excerpt. And I'm just so impressed with her attitude and her philosophy and what she brings to her life and to her music career. And I just know that you're going to be inspired by this and hopefully motivated to change some of your own thinking about your role as an artist, as a musician, as a human being, and how you too can transform your own music career. What you're about to hear is a section from a much longer sort of live Q&A that I did for something new. It's called the Empowered Artist Mastermind Group. This is an online membership site that's actually for creative people of all kinds. There happens to be a lot of musicians in it, but it also includes members who are writers and visual artists and just many different creative disciplines. And it's a very active group. There's a private Facebook group where we can all interact 24/7. A couple times a month, I'll hold a live call where I'll either interview somebody like Jennifer or an expert or kind of a standout member of the Empowered Artist Mastermind community, or I'll do an open Q&A, or I'll do some teaching every week. There's a theme. I'm beginning to have like monthly themes and challenges, and it's just a great way to get support and to interact with other creative people, just to keep your enthusiasm up, stay connected with a creative community, and feed off the energy of other people. There's even an option for you to team up one-on-one with a success partner, someone that you communicate with from anywhere from 1 to 5 times a week, or whatever frequency is right for you. I also encourage people to form mini masterminds of 4 or 5 people each that get together separately as a subgroup. So a lot of opportunities there if you choose to immerse yourself in it. You can find out more about the Empowered Artist Mastermind Group at the new website for the Empowered Artist Movement. That's what I'm calling it. Yes, it's the name of a book, The Empowered Artist. It's the name of the mastermind, and there are other moving parts to this as well. But that's at empartist.com. Just think about the first 3 letters of the word empowered, empartist.com. Go there and you can scroll down a little bit and find a link to the mastermind group. I also encourage you to save this date, Saturday, November 14th, 2015. That is the day where I'm going to be holding a cool event that I call the Creative Entrepreneur Summit. It's an all-day event from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. right here in my hometown of St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm going to be gathering together people just like those that are in the mastermind, musicians, writers, visual artists, creative people of all types. We're going to come together, collaborate, feed off the energy of each other, and I will walk you all through within that day a variety of things that will help you build a strong foundation for your career. It's about doing more with your art, with your talent, with your creativity, and creating the building blocks or the foundation that you can make more of an impact, build a business, make money with it, whatever your goals are with your creativity. This is going to help you reach more people and thrive more as a creative person. And information on that is also at empartist.com. So go there and check that out. So I first met Jennifer Vazquez a few years ago during an event called the Taxi Road Rally out in Los Angeles, where she was living at the time, and just have stayed in touch with her over the years, and have just kept an eye on her and noticed her progress, and in particular in the last year or two, this sort of really vibrant attitude that she had. She's a member of the Mastermind group, and just really stood out to me that she was onto something that most artists are not. And so I thought she'd be the ideal person to interview for the exclusive Mastermind live calls that we have. And so I want to give you a little taste of that call, because I know you're really going to be inspired by what Jennifer has to say about the way she transformed herself and her whole relationship with music and her fans. And well, let's get to that interview. I know you're going to love it.
But I have been impressed over the years, just sort of watching you from afar after that first meeting, that you do have this sort of positive attitude, a positive message. And then since you've been part of the Mastermind group in this past month, the first month of it, it just kind of stood out to me like you get it, this sort of attitude of the empowered artist. And so I thought you'd be a great guest to have here and share your story. So let's just start off by just letting people know just real quickly, who you are, what you do, any important milestones in your history that led to where you are now.
Well, first of all, thank you so much, honestly, Bob, for just allowing me to share. I think this is like a key factor for us artists, whatever we are, to just kind of come together in a community and just, listen to each other's experiences and strength and hope so that we could kind of, work off each other and empower ourselves and empower others. So thanks a lot for that. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a performing artist. I have been doing this for about 20 years now. I started, for me as an artist, it was very clear at a young age that this was what I wanted to do. I didn't know whether I was singing, I was dancing, I was acting, but it was something inside of me just at a very young age that really thrived off of. In the beginning, I thrived off my ego, and presently I thrive off of being of service. So there's a huge shift in that platform of 20 years as an artist. But I think the basically, for myself, my experience has been growing as an artist is really growing as a person. So the more experiences I've had in my life, the more I'm able to grow as an artist, and stepping away from this whole concept of I got to be famous. I got to, everyone's got to see me, and I've got to, that's how I empower myself because I know I'm worth something because people tell me I am. So, that as an artist, as a singer-songwriter, and I would say just to, kind of give everyone a hint, it's I'm pop folk, a little country. I'm like a mix between Bonnie Raitt meets Joan Osborne. It's kind of mix yourself in with Joni Mitchell and Carole King. I'm a songwriter. I tell stories in that sense. But anyway, bottom line is the whole journey as an artist for me has been really trying to step away from what's stopping me from empowering others, this whole empowered artist, us being that is to step away from the ego, and also to work through the fears that I have, and I know that many artists have, and I want to kind of focus more. I'm an artist, but I want to focus so that everyone can relate. And basically for me, I have loathed myself for many years as an artist. Or let's just put that into perspective as a person. And I didn't realize I was loathing myself. And so I was trying to better myself by becoming this famous person so that I can, hide the loathe. But for me as an artist, what I've learned in the past 20 years through falling and rising is that the only way that I could be abundant as an artist, period, is if I love myself. And that for me, I know this is kind of going away from art, but it isn't, because if I don't love myself, like me, Jennifer, not the artist, screw the artist. If I don't love myself, then there is no way anyone's going to ever really want to be around me anyway. I mean, they can see me, but people see you for exactly who you are. It's just we don't see. And once we see who we are and we dig deep, there's the love. There's the abundance. There's the support internally that I would need so that being a singer-songwriter or being a painter or being, a writer, it doesn't matter where you get, because you love yourself. Therefore, anything coming out of you is going to be abundant because it's real. It's not you trying to cover up, saying you're not enough. So, I'm going to stop there because I babble. But
No,
I'll stop
I'm
there.
Inspired. I'm sure everyone. This is the reason that I knew you'd be a perfect guest. There was so much there that you said. And it is. Even though this is called the empowered artist, and I'm aiming the message at creative people. Yes, it just doesn't affect your artistic life. I could easily call this the empowered person. But you're right. It's something that permeates all aspects. And I'm actually at the end of this 90-day program. My significant other, Pookie, is on the line, actually was instrumental in me taking this program. She did it early on. The essence of this idea is that we are born perfect. We're like flawless. We're enthusiastic. And have you ever watched kids going, what do you want to be? It's like, I want to be Superman. I'm going to be an astronaut. It's like there are no limitations. It's all exploration and fascination and all this good stuff. And then as we get older, even with people, parents, teachers, whatever, authority figures who may even have good intentions, we get that pure essence that's at our core gets covered up. Having experiences or telling ourselves stories about the world that leads to the loathing yourself instead of, and sometimes you're not even aware those programs are firing, and they're subconscious, that, and they affect everything that you do, and you just think that you're going along for the ride or you're a victim of them. And so I'm just so glad that you said that. Yeah. So it's really not trying to pump yourself up and, hey, I'm lovable. It's like returning to your core essence. It was always just like Dorothy's shoes in The Wizard of Oz. You've had it all along. It's just been covered up. Yeah. So thank you for going right to the heart of the matter there.
Yeah, and I'm not one for small talk, so that's why this is going to be a deep conversation.
It's not going to be surface level.
That's not going to be, no.
And also I'm glad that you said that you knew at a young age that you wanted to do something creative. And I feel the same way. Both writing and music go back to grade school for me, and I think many people in the arts felt that way, this compulsion from a young age, which is why it always astounds me when I run into adults who go, I don't know what I'm meant to do or what I'm supposed to do, or I don't have any really passionate interests. And I think you and I are probably cursed with too many.
Yeah. I said it's a gift. I think, many of us could recognize it's such a gift and a curse, because what do you do when you have all this abundance inside of you, and then you have the ego driving to say, I want out, but then the person that is perfect is like, hold on, calm down, like, we're going to get there, you just got to be patient. And it's just like the other guy is out there tugging with you, and it's a battle, because there's so much inside every one of us. Like, we are so abundant, and everything about us, every flaw, every perfection, together, intertwined in what we are. We have so much to offer, but again, it's just we've got to work ourselves inside out rather than outside in, which I know we all try to do. I try to do it 24/7 until the past years, where I've learned now, inside out is the way to go. That's the new outside in.
Right.
Birthday.
Which is why I've always, been encouraging self-reliance as a starting point. I've realized in my own journey that I was so independent and DIY-focused that I still, after many years, feel like I need to do it all myself, when really I should be reaching out and partnering with people more, and I'm doing that more and more. Yeah. I'm still learning and growing. But a lot of people start off with I need something out there to give me, like this week's lesson was about the seeking approval or needing permission to do something, or getting the record deal, the book deal, get the art gallery to approve me, when that initial approval really needs to come, you're right, from within. And from that foundation of strength, you then radiate out and interact with the world. I guess that's another way of saying that.
Yeah.
You mentioned this going from loathing yourself to loving yourself, and so I'm just wondering, what was the transformation, or what was the catalyst? Was it just like a dissatisfaction with where you were? Was it a book? Was it a conversation, a mentor? Just what led to that transformation for you?
I think, I have to say, I'm in New York now, but I was living in LA. That's where I met you, for 7 years, and I think what happened is I've always been someone that thought I needed to, if I'm an artist, I need to survive. I need to just, go through the trenches, and my whole life has been surviving, waiting to thrive. That was my life. And it didn't mean that I didn't accomplish a lot, because I have. That's not I'm not saying the accomplishments weren't there. I'm saying internally I was always surviving. And I was, street performing 5-6 days a week. I had 3 jobs. I was doing everything I had to do to be famous. Okay. And the reality was that wasn't my purpose. I don't know what, I know what my purpose is now, but I was just kind of going forward to just being tomorrow something could happen. And that's a great attitude if you have it on a healthy self-care, environment inside you. But when you're dealing with me, that's like, yeah, I need to, and I need validation, and I need this, and I need that. I think what happened is 7 years in LA went from being this abundant experience where I got so much, just so much. I learned so much about myself, so much about the people that listen to my music. I went to college on the street per se, by just waking up in the morning and street performing. But I think at a certain point, I got so drained, and I kept one day, I'm sure this has happened to a lot of us. It's happened to me about 5 times in my life so far, where there's 5 pinpoints where it's like every 5, 6, 7 years, there's a moment where you're like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. What am I doing? I'm fooling myself. Why can't I just, for me as a woman, why can't I just go get married, have some kids, have a job, and I'll be good to go? And the reality is I'd go through this, and it would last a couple of weeks, and then I'd go through so depressed because now what am I supposed to do? And I'd always come out with a silver lining of this abundance of a miracle happens, and then you continue, something tells you inside, your higher power, the universe, whatever you want to call it, says don't stop. So when I was in LA, the 7th year that I was in, I just fell. I just hit rock bottom in every financial way. I lost it. And I moved back with my mom, in my 30s. And it was the worst moment of my life. And I was like, I cannot believe this is where I am. And it just hit, and I tried to give up music again. That was my 7th, okay, I'll give up music again. And I started dating in the hopes that I'd meet a man to marry and be normal. And that lasted a second. And then I finally realized, this is just who I am. Why am I trying to stop being me? And I just think it was in a course of just finding a community of people that I can find that would actually get me. So I think it has to do with reading a lot of books and then meeting people, finding community where you can kind of understand that I am screwed up in the head. I'm an artist, okay? But I'm imperfectly perfect. So to answer your question, what had happened is in the past few years, I've just been exposed to going through steps for myself and really uncovering, from the core of me, uncovering everything that has ever wronged me. And really, that's me. Okay, so just really facing me. And I've gone through a lot of work on myself, and pretty much it's just basically I've accepted that who I am is enough, and I've found the truth within my letting go of thinking what I should have been doing. And really, really getting into personal stuff. I went around and I think there's a movie where this girl goes and tries to make amends as to everyone she ever harmed or something like that. So pretty much the past years, I have no baggage. I've called every person I've ever harmed. I've talked to every person that, I've literally cleared my life. So where is my transformation? My transformation was stepping away from my music and stepping into myself, Jen, the person. And then from that, working inside, then I got to realize that, what? If I want to do music again, it's really going to have to be because I love it, but it's also going to have to be because I'm serving it. I'm serving other people. It cannot be about me anymore. And the transformation is that in my 20s, in my teens, it was all about me, me. What can you do for me, me? And then that's so empty and hollow. And so in the past few years, now I've found my peace where it's not that every day it's peaceful. I'm not like a, fluffy little cloud. Well, I am, but I'm not. And but the point is to end here is that I've learned now that my purpose is to touch, move, inspire others, whether it be through my words, my music, my smile. I'm here for that purpose. And I now let, the universe, a higher source, take care of me. I am done taking care of myself because I can't do that. And I don't mean that by other people. I mean it by a higher power. So there's my transformation.
Well, there you go. Was I right or was I right? Is she an amazing person with a great attitude? If you have a pulse, I think you will agree with me. So, how could you embrace the philosophies and the attitudes and the perspective on life that Jennifer demonstrated there in that interview? How can you rethink your role? How are you dealing with the frustration? How are you transforming your own life and your own music career? So I hope listening to that gave you some fresh ideas and a new way of perhaps approaching it all. Again, that was an excerpt from a longer Q&A live call that I did for the Empowered Artist Mastermind group. People got to ask her questions live on that call, and she had recently done a fan funding campaign for that tour that she did to Sweden. She shared some pretty interesting insights into that whole process too. Like I said earlier, if you want to find out more about the Empowered Artist Mastermind group and hopefully join, it's just $20 US per month, or you can pay $50 every quarter, every 3 months to join. So it's super affordable, and it will get you involved with an active, vibrant community of creative people who you can interact with, give and get advice, ask questions. You can go there when you're down. You can go there to celebrate your victories. Hook up with a success partner that you can communicate with one-on-one. There's access to me, not only in the Facebook group, but to the couple of live calls that we have every month. And if you miss the calls, they are recorded and available to listen to at your convenience. And also don't forget that the Creative Entrepreneurs Summit is coming to St. Louis, Missouri on Saturday, November 14th, 2015. The details on that event and the mastermind group are at empartist.com. That's it for now. I'll be back next time with maybe a little change up, a little redesign of this very podcast. So I will let you know about those details in the next episode. In the meantime, have an amazing week. Have an amazing day. This is Bob Baker saying so long for now.